Welcome to Beginning Your Mystery with Sam Wiebe. This is a short online session designed for anyone who wants to begin writing mystery novels and is maybe unsure of how to go about doing that. Whether you are someone who's already got an idea, or you're looking for an idea and thinking about ways to develop it, whether you're stuck on your first draft, or whether you've written several novels already and you're just looking for another way to do things, I hope this course will be useful to you. What we're going to do over the next few minutes, first we're going to talk about the beginnings to several famous mystery novels. We're going to unpack these and see what kind of work they're doing as a way to see what goes into writing a mystery novel. Then we'll talk about ideas, where to find them, how to develop them, and I'm going to give you some examples from my own work, how I took certain different starting points and developed those into published novels. Finally, I've got an exercise for you to do, which will hopefully jumpstart your creativity and get you on the right path. So let's begin. Let's start with the opening to one of my favorite novels, which is True Grit by Charles Portis. This is not technically a mystery novel, but the opening includes all the things that a great mystery should. So I'm going to read this opening to you. People did not give it credence that a 14-year-old girl could leave home and go off in the wintertime to avenge her father's blood, but it did not seem so strange then, although I will say it did not happen every day. I was just 14 years of age when a coward going by the name of Tom Cheney shot my father down in Fort Smith, Arkansas, and robbed him of his life and his horse and $150 in cash money, plus 2 California gold pieces that he carried in his trouser band. You know, every time I read that opening, I just want to sit down and read the whole book from cover to cover. There's a lot going on in this opening. So let's take a look at what's going on here. First of all, the language. There's a rhythm and a cadence to the narration. There's interesting word choice, words like credence, and then imagery, right? With the father's blood, California gold pieces. These are very striking terms. The narrator, Maddie, is very precise. She's like ironically precise, telling us people thought this was strange, but it actually happened and wasn't that strange. But it was still a little strange, right? That first sentence winds back on itself just to tell us how precisely uncommon this is. And then the second sentence gives us this list, this itemized, point for point thing of everything that was stolen from Maddie's father, including his life. That precision tells us a lot about Maddie's character, her goals, how she views the world. We also get a sense of the other characters, right? A coward going by the name of Tom Cheney, as well as Maddie's father, and then the relationship between the three of them. Protagonist, antagonist, and the victim. Third, this passage tells us what the conflict is going to be. And these are, high school terms, but they still apply, right? Human versus human. So 14-year-old Maddie is bringing Tom Cheney to justice. We have human versus their environment. She's set up that this takes place off in the wintertime. And also society, the people who don't believe her. There's a lot at stake in Maddie's quest for justice, and there's a sense of genuine peril, right? How is she going to pull this off? Fourth, we learn about setting. Fort Smith, Arkansas in the wintertime, and sometime in the past. And fifth, we start our plot. This is, to use another terrible old high school term, our inciting incident, the event which starts Maddie's desire for justice. We know from this paragraph what the shape of the book is going to be, right? This is going to be an adventure story, a story of justice, of revenge. There's going to be some sort of confrontation between Maddie and Tom Cheney by the end. And if that didn't happen, how would you feel? Maybe a little cheated, right? We can probably guess, since she's telling us about this from the future, that Maddie is going to prove successful against the odds. This is a lot of work to do in 2 sentences. Here's the opening to the story A Scandal in Bohemia by Arthur Conan Doyle. To Sherlock Holmes, she is always the woman. I have seldom heard him mention her under any other name. In his eyes, she eclipses and predominates the whole of her sex. It was not that he felt any emotion akin to love for Irina Adler. All emotions, and that one particularly, were abhorrent to his cold, precise, but admirably balanced mind. And yet there was but one woman to him, and that woman was the late Irina Adler, of dubious and questionable memory. So this opening tells us, first of all, that this is going to be a Sherlock Holmes detective story. This is going to be about the brilliant consulting detective, but it also tells us that this is going to be unique, different from any other Holmes story. What else is going on here? First of all, we're learning about character. Pretend we know nothing about Sherlock Holmes. We learn that he has a cold, precise, but admirably balanced mind, according to the narrator, the person telling the story, who's Dr. Watson. We also learn that Irina Adler fascinates him for some reason, which the narrator is quick to say is not love. But is the narrator being truthful to us? We learn not just about Holmes and Adler, but about Watson too. What happened to make her the late Irina Adler, and why is she of dubious and questionable memory? Why is Holmes so hung up on her that he thinks of her as the woman? This opening gives questions that only reading the rest of the story will answer. Here's the opening to A is for Alibi by Sue Grafton. My name is Kinsey Milhone. I'm a private investigator, licensed by the state of California. I'm 32 years old, twice divorced, no kids. The day before yesterday, I killed someone, and the fact weighs heavily on my mind. So the rhythm of this opening is deliberately jarring. We get this recitation of facts, which is almost dull, right? My name, my age, my marital status, and then we're jarred by learning that 2 days ago she killed someone, and this bothers her. So immediately we're asking, who did she kill? What were the circumstances? And why does it bother her? Let's look at a couple more classics. And with each of these, think about how character and plot are introduced. Is there a sense of the conflict or setting? What kind of language and voice do we hear? And think about what questions each of these is asking or setting up for us. The first one of these is The Mysterious Affair at Styles by Agatha Christie. The intense interest aroused in the public by what was known at the time as the Styles case has now somewhat subsided. Nevertheless, in view of the worldwide notoriety which attended it, I have been asked, both by my friend Poirot and the family themselves, to write an account of the whole story. This, we trust, will effectually silence the sensational rumors which still persist. It's quite a tongue twister. So this makes us think, what is the Styles case and why did it arouse the public's interest? What rumors persist? And then how does the narrator fit into this? How does he know the truth? This is from Red Harvest by Dashiell Hammett. I first heard Personville called Poisonville by a red-haired mucker named Hickey Dewey in the big ship in Butte. He also called his shirt a shoit. I didn't think anything of what he had done to the city's name. Later I heard men who could manage their R's give it the same pronunciation. I still didn't see anything in it, but the meaningless sort of humor that used to make Richard Snary the thieves' word for dictionary. A few years later, I went to Personville and learned better. Why did the narrator go to Personville, and what happened for him to learn better? This is setting up the idea that everyone is in on the joke, or in on this special knowledge about Poisonville that the narrator doesn't know, and then the narrator finds out, and now they're going to share it with us. These are not just catchy openings. Each one in its own way is setting up what the book is going to be about. Who the characters are, what the plot is going to look like, what the conflicts are going to be, where it's going to take place, and in some cases what the theme is going to be. And also, each one of these is asking or posing a question to the readers. Why is Personville called Poisonville? Why did Kinsey kill someone? What is the Styles case? We want to know the answers to those, and so we keep reading. And posing questions to readers is really what mystery writing is all about.